values dating and understanding whether it is for real and if you can become a good couple. In this video, I promised in my previous video to say more about how you find out if you are on the same page with your values, and this is the video for that. So, you like her, and she seems so promising, so attractive, so hot. You want to do many things with her, including every wild thing you can imagine. But why? Why? Because every relationship has to have a purpose. If you understand that, brings you to a new level. If you understand that this girl is just for fun, then you don't talk about deep things with her, you're just having fun. Right? They are giggling, they're running around, you're entertaining each other, they are setting up some fun scenarios, you're drinking, you're running around, you're traveling together, and it all is light. That's one scenario for a relationship, and it is absolutely okay for certain people to have that, because short-term relationships help us to get energy, to heal from previous relations, and to understand who we really want to be with. And some relations start from fun, and sometimes they don't go further because you don't want to talk about deeper things. You don't feel like introducing her to your grandma. You don't feel like bringing her to the friend's birthday. Then that's not your woman. That's the first answer. But if you feel like showing your world, opening up a family album, and introducing her to those people who are already in a better world, telling her more about your childhood, fears and stories and dreams and aspirations and wishes, then it's very likely that's the girl that can make it work for you. So this kind of girl deserves more attention. And will you know on a first date if this is the girl? Well, some guys do, because you have this face scanner for women. I don't know how you guys do that, but sometimes after the first date, I hear, even not after the first date, even like before I introduce the guy to a girl, he says, that's going to be my woman. I'm going to do everything possible for her to marry me. It's like, how do you know? It's like, I know, but okay. And, in some cases, these guys get married to those girls. They make it happily ever after. They have children, they live together, and their faces are looking alike. That's the universal divine thing that helps me be and do, well, actually helps me do what I do, because I am where I am, and I just feel that flow. I'm creating the safe space for people that are coming my way, and I'm like a lighthouse standing on an island, giving light, showing people the way we work, and the ship, men and women are passing by, and some stay, some switch on their lights, and they attract each other. Well, with some guidance of the lighthouse that is standing on an island and telling, like, this is the sea of love and creating families. Because my goal is helping men and women create families. So now, how do you know on the first date that's going to be your woman, and how do you develop it further? Of course, on the first date, you're not going to ask her, okay, what are your key life values? What is number one? What is number two? Of course, you don't want to do that, because that will be your last date. You don't come with a checklist on the first date, as well as you don't come on the checklist on the first date like whether you will turn into my religion. Oh, check, no, okay, next. You need to open up, and you need to tell the girl more about yourself, about your personality, enlighten her about your values and about your interesting and intriguing life, so she wants to join that. And then, or it's same for the woman. For example, some women are Christian Orthodox, and their grandmother had her promise her that she would marry in that church where she was born, and the guy has to adopt Christian Orthodox faith in order to be married in a Christian Orthodox church, and many men do that, by the way. So, but she wouldn't start a first date with that question, because that will be the last date. So you make sure your first date is fun, light, easy. You sparkle. You show her great personality you are. Mm, you joke a little bit so she understands because it's a foreign language for her. You attract. Basically, you attract and you see whether there is attraction. It can be a video date. It can be a real meeting. Doesn't matter. It has to be a sparkle. So when the next date happens, then you understand, okay, I'm attracted to this person. So what's next? And next is coming, what do I want to know about her? And what is the key life value number one for me? Say, for example, um, you have the specific philosophy you belong to. And actually, it's easy to start from something like faith, philosophy of life, mindset. So the next date, so you write yourself down the questions that you want to discuss. You basically create a plan. Remember, I told in my previous videos that when you are considering integrating a person from another culture and country, you need to have a plan. It's not coming naturally as it is, because it's coming naturally as it is when you are 25 years old. If you are no longer 25 years old, forget it. Nothing will come naturally because you have life experience, you have attitude, you have mindset, you have past relationship experience and traumas, and you have childhood that you have behind you, you have your parents, you have your achievements. So that's a plan. Family is a plan. So create that plan for yourself and sit down before you share that plan with somebody. You create it for yourself. So, okay, it's easy to talk about the philosophy of life. So write down things that matter to you. And you can start the date saying, oh, by the way, like as an example, but you need to create your own scenario. We give our clients guidance on what type of video dates you can have before you meet in person. If meeting in person is a little bit more complicated because she lives far away. And chemistry is becoming secondary, actually, if you have same mindset, same life expectations, and same life goals, by the way. So you start talking about, for example, faith or mindset. You say, I've read this book and it really matters a lot to me. And now I'm trying to live my life in such and such way, in such and such things are important to me. And what about you? Do you have a predetermining, like philosophical factors or some guiding? What is your guiding light? Like, what guides you in life? Who enlightens you to, who gave you the values? And then you start developing that subject. And, or for example, you've discussed that you want to have children, both. And we introduce men and women on the basis of common relationship expectations, because key life values and relationship expectations are two things that complement each other and predetermine whether you will become a long-lasting couple. So relationship expectations of having children, we match people according to that. So she wants to have children and you do, so talk about that. Say second date. You can go on a playground and say, wow, these babies make me so soft. I like girls because they are like this. I like boys because they are like that. And then you raise the subject of having children, or start discussing or start sharing, not discussing, because first you share, then you discuss, and you share like, oh, my nephew is like this and like that, and I participate in educating him like this and like that. Or you already have children and you had fun raising them up and they are already grown up, but you dream to have another child together. Then you share what you did and how helpful you were taking your children to different extracurricular places and investing your time and money into their development, sharing what type of a father you can become. So children, faith, health, do a workout date. You can absolutely do it on a video date, not the second video date, because you would rather speak about something less practical. But for example, if you're jogging and she's jogging, you can say, well, like, let's do it together and let's have a video date. Make sure you have your headset, and you hold your phone, and as you're jogging, you can. It's difficult to jog and talk. Basically, it's easier when you are walking on a certain pace, and then you're talking. But it's up to you. Or you can say, okay, let's do the workout together. Now, 2 exercises from you, 2 exercises from me, and then we do this together. That's not going to be so much fun of a date, but that's going to be like some hardcore exercise date. But that's fun to do that because you already share a common activity together, right? You want to do that. Money. Things like money mean learning what kind of spender she is, or how you spend money, and sharing that money is an important factor. You can share things like, today my friend has bought a car, and again, something. Tell a story. That's what I mean. Tell a story about something that involves the value you want to discuss. And through that story, through those examples, you can share your attitude, what you really think about that particular matter, and ask her opinion. And then you can communicate and share. Or she may tell you a story, and then you will be involved in discussing what you want to share about, for example, money. And this way you learn more. But people are there is a big pitfall here. People make assumptions. When you don't ask questions, you think this is the way it is. It can be totally different way. For example, women may be not spending money on certain things, specifically because they are like earning more to buy a better thing. And you may be thinking, oh, she doesn't need much. Or the opposite. She buys something super expensive, and you're thinking, she is like throwing money away. But there can be another explanation to that, and you don't know. It can be so that she only wears a certain level of things, a certain level of quality. Otherwise, she doesn't buy things because they don't last. And sharing that attitude also matters a lot. And same about jobs and careers. But the jobs and careers are very easy to talk to. And maybe the second date is the easiest when you are talking about job and career. Telling what achievement you've made. If you're retired, how many people they had to hire when you retired to replace you. Or maybe you've written a book about your specific finding in that job and career. Or maybe you are doing something that can also involve her in your life, and you can enhance each other's professional lives by adding your skill sets and intelligence together and creating a new project. I have a couple like this. Now they are making a special patent on an animal product, and they are making it a unique product, hopefully all over the world. See, maybe you have that kind of skill set. So, having a story about a specific value and sharing that through a story, whether it involves you or somebody you know, or even you have that story from some friends or you read it in a book, but having that story as a door opener for discussing that matter. Number 2, being honest and open and telling about things as they are. Because the sooner you find out you are not matching in those key life values, the sooner you realize you're so different, regardless of how attracted you are, well, you may do a better thing. Talk to your matchmaker and find out whether it's really so or you're making assumptions. And then find somebody else. Because if you haven't invested too much time, money, and effort and energy into that relationships, it's easier to stop it and move on the next meeting rather than having more frustrations and time spent. Time is the most valuable thing we have nowadays. So we need to invest it with the right people. Um, do not make assumptions. Really, this is the worst thing you can do, because you are belonging to different cultures and belonging to different cause and effect things when they are culturally bound. So instead of making an assumption, you can say, does this mean that such and such happened, or this and that didn't happen, or you made such and such decision? And you may hear something totally different than you were expecting. And be honest, be blunt and honest, and discuss things as they are without making it looking better, without beautiful bird helping me speak. That's a sign to finish the video. So honestly discuss it and give the feedback to your matchmaker. And then your relationship will go further and further. And most likely, you will meet that wonderful person and you will create that wonderful relationships, and you will have that living happily ever after, and will dance on your wedding, because that's my goal. In Marriage by Natalie, we're helping people create families when they are ready for it. So, see you on marriagebynatalie.com. Sign up and let's find your soulmate so you can discuss the values together. Love from Ukraine.